This report reveals a golden opportunity for the Padres, as these players are available and would fit very nicely into a Padres lineup in need of some players. Let's talk about it. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Padres Digest with your host, Andrew. Today, we're going to talk about fleecing the Rays because they are not playing great and they have a lot of possible players that could fill in nicely on the Padres. So let's talk about some players. These are some reports I saw from Twitter. MLB Trade Rumors reports that Rays are softening their stance on dealing Yandy Diaz and Brandon Lowe. And then another person I saw, Tampa Bay's face crossroads. Trade deadline could see strong arm Zack Littell move as team reconsiders strategy. Rays confront pivotal blah, 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 blah. But basically, Zack Littell, Yandy Diaz, Brandon Lowe, and then one more player that could be interesting, and I'll reveal him in just a second. But I have a lot of our usual player deep dives and quotes to go along with it. So if you're interested, stick around. And you should be interested because the trade deadline's almost here. We have holes on this team and we need players to fill them. So let's start with our first quote. According to ESPN's Buster Olney, I think it's Olney, please don't roast me. The Rays are leaning towards a selling approach as the deadline approaches. This comes as a surprise considering their early season performance. The Rays, who appeared to be gathering momentum a month ago, are now just a game over 500. Olney noted, he added that the organization has a long-standing practice of maximizing player value, leading rival evaluations to speculate that the team may be considering offloading some of its assets. One more quote from you, but that's from Justin Berry from Motorcycle Sports, that second article I showed you. The Rays have struggled badly in the month of July with a 6-14 record that has left them just one game over 500 and 2.5 games out of a wild card spot. Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic reports that the club's recent skid has forced their front office to reconsider some of its stances on keeping certain players in the fold, including first baseman Yandy Diaz and second baseman Brandon Lowe. While the Rays are currently signaling an openness to moving both players, Rosenthal adds they could reverse that decision if the club's play in the coming day warrants it, and that a final decision may not be made until Wednesday, the day before this year's trade deadline. And that's perfectly okay, because most trades don't really happen until the deadline. So, yeah, I mean, Rays have always been a good team based on the fact that they just have really good development in general. Like, they never had like a star. I mean, they've had star players, but they never had like an expensive star player. You know what I mean? Like, they don't spend a lot of money because they don't have a lot of money. But they're the ultimate money ball story. Let's put it that way, of the MLB right now. But they have players. And like they said, we can start with Yandy Diaz. Yandy Diaz, I feel like a player you guys should be a little bit well known with. I'm pretty sure he won a batting title in 23. Yeah, with a 330 average. So this year right now, he's looking pretty good. He has 18 home runs, which I think would be the most on our team. Does Machado have 20? I forget. But it would be pretty close to the top, right? 285 average, nothing to scoff at. Good slug, good on base. So he would be a nice little fit. The thing is, of course, is that we're not really in the need for a first baseman. He's not like yes, he could fill the lineup nicely, but he's not like a necessary need. He's a good need, right? Because we can either put Arraez at first or Yandy Diaz at first, and then either or can just play DH, which would mean Shildt would be a full-time left fielder, which hasn't worked horribly for us. Like, he's done a fine job. But I don't know who's worse at fielding, Arraez or Diaz. Both are not that great, but I'm sure they could switch off every once in a while. Kind of like what they did with Shildt when he was playing first base earlier in the year. But he has very, very good stats. I mean, he should be hitting batting average-wise 298 according to expected batting average. His slug should be at 500. So he should be playing a lot better. He should be playing better than he is, but he's still playing really, really good. I mean, look at his batting run value. Almost great. Right, so he is someone that would be an absolute upgrade on our team. He does hit righties better than lefties, but he still hits both relatively well. You can see he slugs better against lefties than he does righties, and his OPS is about the same on both sides. So he'd be a great like full-time DH first baseman. He does have a club option on 2026 and a conditional club option for 2017, but the club option has no buyout. So basically, if we want to pay him $12,000, or 12 million. I wish we could pay him 12,000. 12 million, we can. He's kind of getting older, but again, he's still putting up stats, so who are we to complain about that? And then the other player they mentioned, Brandon Lowe. Another player that we don't necessarily need, but he could be a good DH because his defense isn't fantastic, right? But he was an all-star this year, I'm pretty sure. So he has 19 home runs, 269 average, which is good. Not horrible. It's not great, but it's good. 320 on base, 480 slug. Slug is nice. OPS is nice, 800. So his stats not as good as Yandy Diaz, in my opinion, but he still has some relatively solid stats. He does strike out a bit. I mean, you can see his whiffs, his squared up, his strikeouts. He's a striker outer, but like half our team are striker outers, so it's not like this is anything new for us. But he does hit against righties much better than lefties, even though I know we have a lefty problem. He does hit righties better, obviously, because he is a left-handed bat. But he could be a second baseman. He could be a DH. We can make Arraez a DH, Cronenworth back at first. Not that I like Cronenworth at first that much, but it's a possibility. I feel like Brandon Lowe did play some outfield, unless that was a different Lowe. I'm gonna look that up real quick. Give me like 2 seconds. Okay, yeah, he can play the outfield. I was correct in remembering, but he hasn't done it since 2022, it looks like, when he played right field. So, yes, he can play the outfield. I don't know if that's someone you really want to stick in left field if he hasn't played it in, 3 years. So, yeah, I mean, he can play outfield, but I think his better spot would just be a full-time DH. But I'll let you guys decide where you would want him if he was here. But yeah, fielding sucks, but batting, a good batter. He's a good hitter. He does have, or was it? A club option next year for 11 million, about 12 million. So if we want him next year, we can keep him. He is injured right now, but that doesn't mean we can't like trade for him. So yeah, I mean, I think he's a solid pick, and I think you guys would be happy to have him on this team. And obviously I would too, but yeah, that's Brandon Lowe. Next, we'll talk about, I'll read you this real quick. Diaz's combination of power and contact ability could make him a major upgrade to any offense that can fit him into the lineup, and Rosenthal suggests that the Red Sox, we don't care about them. But if the Braves do make Diaz available, speculatively speaking, the Rangers, Brewers, and Padres are among the other clubs that can make a bat of Diaz's caliber and would be able to make room for him at either first or DH. Lowe, meanwhile, has relative youth on his side at just 30 years old and could be a fit for more teams due to his ability to handle both second base and left field. Phillies, Giants, Padres, Astros, and Dodgers are among the many contenders who could stand to upgrade at least one of those positions. I have seen that Astros are pretty heavy on Brandon Lowe, so maybe we'll see how that goes, but he would be cool to have on this team. But yeah, he hasn't played left field according to this. Also 20, it says outfield, but I assume that also includes left field. I doubt he would play center field. So yeah, 2022 was the last time he really played there. So I mean, it's not like you just forget how to play outfield, but he might take some time to remember how to do it. Next, we'll talk about, that's that one. This one, Zack Littell. So I kind of showed you on that one right here. Oh, I'm gonna show you this first, actually. Yandy Diaz certainly fits the Padres DH for a remainder of 25, then shifts to first base DH role in 26. If the 12 million club option is exercised, Rays likely move on one of Yandy or Brandon Lowe. You hear Astros on Lowe. Deal contains a 1 million buyout on the 26th option. So yeah, that's where I heard the Astros and Lowe thing. But yeah, now, like we said, Zack Littell, another pitcher who does look relatively good this year, but kind of like Seth Lugo, his percentile rankings aren't matching up to his ERA, because his ERA should be 4.56. Right now it's at 3.72, so not bad, not great. But his pitching run value is around average. He's a good fastball, good off speed, not great breaking stuff. His chase, he gets a lot of people to chase. He barely walks anybody, but he isn't the sexiest pitcher, let's put it that way, right? Like, he has a 4.18 in July so far. He started out really good, had a horrible April, so he'll be a fine number 3, number 4 player, depending on if we trade anybody from the rotation, buy to sell kind of thing, or a sell to buy kind of thing. And then if I kind of filled this screen in weird, but if you see 2026, he'll be a free agent, so there's no club options, no nothing. He'll be a straight up rental. So I don't love it, to be honest. I think we can do better than this, but he's an option. He's an option, and I always want to give you guys options. But Right-hander Zack Littell has emerged as a key player in trade discussions with his contract set to expire. Chad Jennings of The Athletic predicts that a move could be imminent. At 29, Littell has enjoyed a standout season with the Rays, boasting an 8-8 record paired with a 3.72 ERA and a 1.11 WHIP over 21 starts, 13 of which have been quality outings. So, I mean, it's not like he's been bad. He just doesn't look, like I said, sexy. You know what I mean? He doesn't look like a great player, but he does his job. And honestly, we need players who can do their job. So I wouldn't hate the move. I just don't think it's one of my favorite options. Let's put it that way. Nextly, though, one more name we're going to mention. Sorry, the video is a little too long. But one other name Rosenthal mentions as a possible trade chip is catcher Danny Jansen. Unlike Lowe and Diaz, Jansen is not controlled beyond the 2025 season. He has a mutual option for 26, but those are all but guaranteed to be declined by one party or the other. Padres are known to be in the market for catching help this summer, as are the Red Sox and Mets. Jansen is in the midst of a fairly pedestrian season with a 99 weighted runs created plus, 100 being average, so he's just below average, and poor defensive metrics, but he'd nonetheless be an upgrade over Boston's Connor Wong or San Diego's Elias Diaz. So, yeah. And again, I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is from Nick Deeds, MLBTradeRumors.com. But yeah, his stats don't look amazing, but neither do our regular catchers right now. Even though our catchers are starting to look a little better. I mean, Maldonado and Diaz have slowly helped this team more. So I don't know if Jansen's going to be a really good pick, but he's somebody, right? And I mean, he does hit A-okay. I mean, he has 11 home runs. So it's not like he's playing horribly, but adding average is not great. 200, just above the Mendoza line. He does square up the ball, or he does get the sweet spot nicely. It looks like his squared up is around average, even though it's not qualified. It's about average. Does not chase the ball very well. Does walk a lot, which is nice. His on base is 309, or 314, sorry. So it's not horrible. It's not great. Weighted expected on base average should be at 304. So yeah. So he's fine. I mean, he hits better against righties against lefties, but it's still relatively even. I mean, his OPS is actually higher for lefties than it is, and slug is higher. Oh, I guess the only thing that's different is his average is much, or you know what I mean. His average is higher for righties, but everything else is better for lefties. Pop time wise, his pop time is not great. You can see on the right, pop time from second base average. His framing is not as good anymore. His defensive run saved is not as good anymore, -7, -8. So he's okay. He can block the ball well, but everything else is just okay. He's like a better hitting Maldonado at this point. But Maldonado does a lot more for this pitching staff than I feel like Danny Jansen would do. So again, take what you will of these stats and numbers. But yeah, I think all four of these players, I don't think we want... Okay, let's put it this way. If we can get multiple of these players, great. I don't think we could, and I don't think we should. I think if we were to just pick one of these players to put on our team, they'd be a good upgrade. I would prefer the first two players, Yandy Diaz or Brandon Lowe, to be on this team. I think I would still prefer Yandy Diaz over both, but that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like these Rays players, or do you think they're okay and we should look somewhere else? Do you think that we should stand pat at a deadline? I don't know why you would think that, but do you think so? Who's your favorite of the targets that I showed you? And do you think the Rays are going to trade? Do you think they're going to tank enough that they'll be able to trade? Let me know all of those questions. And of course, please subscribe as always, super close to 2,000, and have a fantastic rest of your day. And as always, go Padres. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.